Good morning, and welcome to our first pension subcommittee. I'm Senator Jackson, District 27. Welcome to the Senate Budget and Taxation Committee and Pension Subcommittee. This morning we have with us the Budget and Taxation Chair sitting in with us, Senator Gazone. We have Senator Bailey, Senator Sailing, Senator Elford, and Senator Benson just walked in. We're going to get started. We have a pretty short agenda, but we have to be on the floor at 10. So we're going to go out of the order that you see on the sheet. We need to have the MSD come up. Senate Bill 266. Are they here? Come on up, sir. Good to see you all. State Retirement and Pension System, immediate vesting for the Department of Education. Great to see you all again. Proceed when you're ready.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Senator Jackson, full committee chair, Senator Gazzoni, and members of the Senate Budget and Taxation Pension Subcommittee. I'm Clarence Crawford, and I serve as the president of the State Board of Education. We appreciate this opportunity. I'm joined here today by our Vice President, Dr. Joshua Michael. Just want to make a few points. First, the State Board supports Senate Bill 266. The bill would add the state superintendent to the list of officials who would immediately vest in the pension system. This would make the position of the state superintendent comparable to other cabinet level officials in the state of Maryland. It would also give the state board an additional tool in terms of being able to recruit and retain top quality candidates for the position. The position is not on the list in large measure because technically the State Board of Education is designated as the principal in charge of the Department of Education. We've discussed this matter with the State Retirement Office, and they have no issues with the bill. So the State Board requests that the committee issue a favorable committee report on SB 266. This concludes my statement. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the committee may have. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Absolutely, Mr. President. Are you going to testify, or are you just here to help with questions?
Just here with any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions from members? Senator Elford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much for being here. I completely agree with the recruitment piece of this. Do we know where we stand against other states? How they compare with this piece of a recruitment tool?
We don't have good information. We know that there are about 18 states where the State Board of Education appoints a superintendent. It's unclear exactly what is there. We've been trying to gather that information, but we haven't been able to really get definitive answers to that question.
Just curious. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else? Mr. President, if you do come across that information before we vote, it'd be a good tool for us to have.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Thank you all very much for coming by.
Thank you very much.
That concludes the hearing for Senate Bill 266. Next up, Senate Bill 8, Senator Watson, State and Local Retirement and Pension Systems Service Credit, Return Peace Corps Volunteers. Senator Watson, proceed when you're ready.
Morning, Mr. Chair, committee members. Good to see you all this morning. Senator Ron Watson, 23rd Legislative District, here to request support for Senate Bill 8. Senate Bill 8 seeks to give returned Peace Corps volunteers the same opportunity to receive retirement credit with the state of Maryland as do military and National Guard. Currently, returned Peace Corps volunteers can purchase their years of service at full cost, which is prohibitively expensive, especially as Peace Corps volunteers do not get paid a salary or receive retirement money for their service. Military, National Guard, or reserves and attendees of service academies can all apply to receive credit for their years of service without purchasing those years. This bill simply adds Peace Corps service to the list. With me today to speak on behalf of Senate Bill 8 is Kathleen Jingwe, resident of my district, a graduate of Bowie High School and a current math teacher at Bowie High School.
All right. All right, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Kathleen Ryan Jingwe, and I'm a high school mathematics teacher at Bowie High School in Prince George's County. I'm in my 33rd year of teaching. I started teaching in the Peace Corps in Cameroon from 1990 to 93, and then taught in Detroit for 6 years, starting as a Peace Corps fellow, before returning to Maryland, my home state, where I'm in my 21st year of teaching in Maryland public schools. In researching retirement from Maryland public schools, I discovered that I could purchase my years in Michigan and in the Peace Corps, but with no difference in the cost between the two. While in Michigan, I received pension money that could be used toward the purchase of my previous service. As a Peace Corps volunteer, I received no such money. When I spoke with the Maryland Department of Education, I learned that I would have to purchase the Peace Corps years at the full value of the years, not as a percentage of what I was paid. In Maryland's own words on Form 26, this is prohibitively expensive. As a public school teacher with 3 children, I've lived modestly, yet with no real savings to speak of. I don't know how I would ever have money to purchase the years that I was in the Peace Corps. As part of my research, I discovered Form 43, claim of retirement credit for military service. Employees can receive up to 5 years towards their retirement after completing this form for inactive duty in the National Guard, active duty in any reserve unit, or active duty in the armed forces. I thought, why not also include Peace Corps service? As a returned Peace Corps volunteer, we bring unique skills to the table wherever we are employed, whether in the classroom or elsewhere. Learning to live in a foreign country and respect the traditions and values of others brings a different perspective. As a Peace Corps volunteer, we swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and are often the only Americans that people in other host countries come in contact with. Peace Corps helps promote better mutual understanding between Americans and citizens of other countries. When we return to the US, many RPCV teachers teach in the most challenging school districts. I myself, in addition to teaching in Detroit, have taught newcomer Algebra 1 to students who had recently arrived in the US with limited English skills. I served as the math department chair in my high school in Prince George's County for 15 years. During that time, I started a math club, which became a chapter of Mu Alpha Theta. I initiated peer math tutoring, which continued when I left the school and remains in place to this day. My experience in the Peace Corps continues to help me to be a better teacher.
Thank you very much. Let me say, before I ask if there are any questions or comments, we applaud your service abroad and certainly in our school system. Education is the foundation, as you know, just as well as all of us, or more, probably better than all of us. And I will say on the record that I won't hold Bowie High School against you. Prince George, Crossing Cavalier, just so you know. But thank you very much. Any members have any comments or questions for the senator or our witness? Senator Benson.
I really want, good morning. Thank you for your testimony. Thank you. Thank you, Senator, for bringing this piece of legislation before us. I was in the Prince George's County Public Schools and I served for 40 years. And I'm still working in the school system for children and for teachers and for helping to raise the bar to make life better for all of us, because a rising tide lifts all ships. I also know the urgency and the importance of math. If children can't compute, if they can't read, we've got a problem in the other subject areas. I want to commend you for your service. I really want you to know how much I appreciate the fact that you're in the Prince George's County Public Schools in Bowie, working for children and that community. So I commend you. I really do. I thank you for every single thing that you are doing, the hope that you give to our children, and your reputation precedes you. We have students who talk about how wonderful you are. and how dedicated you are to our children and to parents and to Prince George's County and the state of Maryland. I really want you to know that we deeply and profoundly appreciate every single thing that you have done and continue to do.
Thank you. I
Thank you,
appreciate that.
Senator Benson. Anyone else? Thank you all. Thank you again for coming down. Thank you, Senator Watts, for bringing this legislation. That concludes the hearing for Senate Bill 8. Next up, we have Senate Bill 143, Senator Gallion. Teachers' Retirement and Pension Systems, Reemployment. Come on up if you have a panel. Thanks, Amy. You have Ms. Gothard with you. Yes. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I think Senator Gallion is probably gonna be okay. You have Senator Gothard with him, but proceed, sir.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair, committee members. For the record, Senator Jason Gallion, representing District 35, Hartford and Cecil counties, to introduce Senate Bill 143, Teachers' Retirement and Pension Systems Reemployment. This legislation would clarify an exception that currently exists for public school employees and expand that exception to include central office employees. Currently, a local school system can rehire a maximum of 5 individuals in any school who are retirees of the teachers' retirement system. This bill simply removes the "at any school" language, extending the benefit to central office employees. We arrived at this legislation from a constituent who was employed in the accounting department at Hartford County Public Schools Central Office. She was recently retired, and when the COVID pandemic started and when staffing shortages started affecting the school system, she decided to go back to work and help in the time of need. Unfortunately for her good deed, she is faced with losing a substantial chunk of her retirement. Through working with the helpful folks at the State Retirement Agency, we arrived at Senate Bill 143 that will apply retroactively and help my constituents save her hard-earned retirement funds. The bill is expected to apply in only a limited number of circumstances. It has no discernible effect on state pension liabilities or contribution rates and no effect on revenues. I respectfully urge the committee for a swift and favorable vote on Senate Bill 143.
Thank you, Senator. Ms. Gothard.
I first want to thank the sponsor for reaching out to us to work with us on this bill. In its current posture, we would recommend an amendment on it. The way the bill is drafted, it is open for everyone, but specifically for the individual who brought it to our attention, there is a retroactive provision to make sure that person is covered with everyone else who could be covered. We would like an amendment to just make that a little clearer, enabling us to refund money we've taken that if this bill passes, we should not have taken.
Thank you.
I'd be fine with a clarifying amendment like that. So, all right. Appreciate all your help.
Sure.
Okay, we look forward to the amendment. Senator Benson.
Walk me through this again. I'm just kind of surprised. Did you all have the conversation with MSEA or the teachers union, or have you all had that conversation with them to see what their position is? That's number one. But number two, are you saying that a person who's worked in the school system decides to leave and come back, they're not eligible to draw from the, explain to me again what the process is.
I think Ms. Gothard would be better.
Sure, Senator, when someone retires from the teacher system, there are a limited number of exceptions. So normally, the general rule is if you retire and you come back to work for your same employer, then you can only make a certain amount of money as a reemployed retiree before the state retirement system is required to start reducing your pension, because if you retire and you can't come back to work is generally the rule. However, there are certain exemptions for state or for teachers in particular, that if you come back to work for a troubled school, teaching in a subject matter, that a critical subject, a critical area, subject matter, and then others areas are each school district gets a certain number of people that they can hire to put anywhere they want. The way the law was drafted, we inadvertently made it very restrictive and said those 5 people that they can hire any place they want can only come back and work in the school. This individual has highlighted the issue that, well, what if you come back, the superintendent hires you to come back in the administrative office doing, accounting of some sort. Well, then that person, in this case, what happened was, well, we had to offset her. She didn't meet the exemption. And so this bill broadens that and addresses that issue.
So you all are looking at the number 5.
Yes, the 5 who could come back and teach anywhere or work anywhere in the school district.
Yeah.
And we haven't reached out to MSEA, but I suspect this is broadening their ability to hire, so they would be supportive of it. But I will certainly let them know the bill is out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? And Ms. Gother, if you get that information back prior to our deliberation, please.
Yes.
Please share that with us. Thank you, Senator Gallion.
Thank you.
For bringing this bill. This concludes the hearing for Senate Bill 143. Next up, our last bill is a correction of a bill that we passed last year. Members, and Ms. Gother, if you could hold tight for us, just in case we have some questions. State police retirement system and law enforcement officers pension system deferred retirement option plan is a technical correction. Colleagues, for the record, Senator Michael Jackson representing District 27 in my capacity as chair of the subcommittee on behalf of Senate Bill 320. Senate Bill 320 is a technical correction that came to us from the state retirement and pension system. It justifies that only members of the state police retirement system, not members of LEOPS, must terminate their participation in the deferred retirement option plan drop before reaching age 60. I think this fiscal note of this bill describes it pretty clearly, but we also have our friends, Ms. Gothrop, and members and other members to testify today here to discuss the rationale behind this necessary correction. So, Ms. Gothrop.
I have nothing more to add. You explained it perfectly. You stole my thunder, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. We stay in connection. Gentlemen.
I'm First Sergeant Brian Gill with the State
Yes,
Law
sir.
Enforcement Officers Labor Alliance President. And we just want to thank you guys for your continued support. And you've already basically got everything. So that's all. We're just here to support it. Like I said.
Absolutely.
Same, Dave Lewis, Vice President, Steele, current trooper. And I just want to favor report on 320. And the thank you from last year. We didn't get to see you after the bill passed, but want to thank you for your support. Meant a lot to the law enforcement community, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any questions or comments from any members? Again, thank you very much for coming down. Thank you, Ms. Gothrop. That concludes the hearing for Senate Bill 320, and that concludes our hearings for today. Motion to adjourn. So moved.